Today I'm going to be looking at virtual reality pictures. But before we dive into exactly what virtual reality pictures are, it's important we have a basic understanding of virtual reality itself. Currently a very trendy and hip area of technological development, virtual reality can be defined as using computer technology to create a simulated three-dimensional world that a user can both manipulate and explore while feeling as if they were in that world. Formerly referred to exclusively as photospheres, VR pictures are a panoramic picture on steroids. They provide the ability to see 360 degrees around the spot where a photo is taken. It is important to distinguish what VR pictures are exactly. While they do fit underneath the umbrella of virtual reality, they do not share all of the same characteristics that you might think of when you hear virtual reality. The current virtual reality we're seeing are things like Oculus Rift and other fully immersive environments. VR pictures are less immersive than that and do not allow the user to move around the virtual space. The user is static and they are able to move their head around and swivel and pan in order to look at the virtual space, but they cannot physically move through it. So how are VR pictures made? Well, Google developed the initial technology and it can be seen on their Google Street View cars. Anytime you're on Google Maps and you drag that little man onto a spot you want to see, you are looking at a VR picture. The Google Trekker backpack features the same technology found in the Street View cars, but in a more mobile package. It is possible to apply to Google to borrow the backpack and take it such places as Mount Everest or the Grand Canyon. Over the past year, there has been a flood of 360-degree cameras coming to market. These cameras actually feature a number of cameras in one housing that make it possible to take in one's entire environment with the click of a button. These cameras are very handy and enable you to take pictures and videos of your entire surroundings, but they are also quite expensive and a lot of them still in their Kickstarter phase. Lastly, we have the Google Street View app. Formerly referred to as photospheres, this app enables anyone with a smartphone to be able to take 3D panoramic pictures of their environment using only their built-in camera. So who are the parties who are producing all these VR pictures? Well, giant tech firms like Google and Apple feature extensively in their mapping software. There are other companies that specialize in producing VR for a number of different reasons, whether that be educational purposes or entertainment. And lastly, there's a large online community that is producing photospheres and 3D images on a daily basis. I would like to focus on this online community for a brief moment. Joining the community is as simple as downloading one single app. Once you've downloaded the app, it's very simple to make a new VR picture. You simply follow the directions on the screen, which essentially find you following a dot with your camera. As you do this, the app takes a number of different photos and at the end stitches it together into one cohesive VR picture. I am 100% convinced that we're going to see more VR pictures in the future. It's simple. Kids have the technology to make it in their pockets. No longer does a kid have to go away from home and talk to their parents on Skype. They can actually show them the entire world they're living in. Or a student wants to do a presentation on somewhere like the legislature. They can go to the legislature with their cell phone and take a VR picture of the entire surroundings. Everything that they saw will be in the picture. They can then later present on this picture and show it back to their classmates in a much more real and tangible way. Now that we understand how VR pictures are produced, let's look at how they are consumed. It's really quite simple. Your cell phone is the hub for viewing all VR pictures. It manages all the content. You simply open up a VR picture viewing app on your phone, and then you slide it into a VR viewing device. Viewing device sounds very fancy, but it's really not. The most simple and popular of these devices is Google Cardboard, a $15 piece of cardboard that features eye holes with a number of lenses in it. You simply slide your phone into the Google Cardboard, lift it to your eyes, and as soon as you look through the lenses, you are transported to a different world. You are virtually somewhere else. You are looking at possibly the Alps, or the Titanic, or maybe the bottom of the Grand Canyon. And when you are done viewing this virtual reality picture, you simply pull the Google Cardboard down from your face, remove your phone, and go back to business as normal. The benefits for education are numerous. First, it provides an immersive experience that is free of distractions and has the students completely focused. This leads to the students being fully engaged in what they're learning and observing. It also provides a new perspective. Imagine being able to stand beside a blue whale, looking left to right, and able to fully take in the scope of its size. This is a big departure from formerly looking into a textbook and seeing it compared to small automobiles on a piece of paper. Students can also create and not just consume content. Any student with a smartphone is able to download the app and start taking their own VR pictures with the click of a button. And lastly, teachers are able to virtually transport their class to new locations. One of the best examples of this I've seen is an app that lets you virtually view the Parthenon. You're able to gaze up at the giant columns and then down at the city around. It's a completely different perspective that opens the doorway for students to develop a far greater appreciation for what they're studying. VR pictures capitalize on the technology that students already carry around with them in their pockets. Students are able to make and consume VR pictures with their smartphone. This removes a gigantic barrier of entry to this technology. It's also a highly popular and fast-growing facet of technology. The recent TED conference in Vancouver, there was a huge emphasis placed on virtual reality. VR pictures provide unique and engaging learning opportunities for students. Students are now able to look at real-life 3D-sized versions of things that were formerly abstract and two-dimensional on a piece of paper. Content is easily produced and consumed through the use of readily available apps for smartphones. And lastly, this is fun for students. When they lift the virtual reality piece up to their face and start looking around a new world where they've never been before, there's smiles everywhere across the classroom, and they cannot wait to check out more places. I've had a lot of fun presenting VR pictures here over the last number of minutes, and when I was preparing for today's assignment, I actually picked up one of these Google Cardboard compatible viewers. It's a take on the old Viewfinder by Mattel. You pull the button to go to the next slide, and really a neat learning experience. I hope you were able to learn a fair bit from today, and currently I'm feeling pretty spent, so I think I'm going to recharge on a beach in Hawaii. Aloha.